Okay, good.
All right.
I'm done.
Oh, hold on. Shit. Test, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
What are you doing walking around with a mask on? Oh, you're an angel boy.
Hey, Joe.
Hi, President Bender.
How are you?
Doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. You're still at the office.
Still at the office. It's my home away from home.
Right, right.
You know what that's like, Mr. President.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Hey, there's Poncelet.
How
Good
are you,
evening.
Jeff?
Hey, you got the thumb in the background. He's got the thumb.
Stephen, I think, does.
Nice. Oh, look at that. All right. So we can stop video too, huh? Oh, look at that, Shauna.
What are we doing?
I just played with my video. There, look, I turned it back on.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
I'm messing around with my Zoom settings.
Well, I have found when you do that, I learn more that way.
Yep. And there I see Q&A.
You did perfect.
Okay. Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Holtzmeister. We have Peter Holtzmeister is in attendance right now.
Oh, nice. Hey, there's Pam.
Hey,
Hey.
you know what I find on these calls since I've been doing so many business calls? When you take a break, you go and find all sorts of goodies in the kitchen, which you wouldn't have access to.
Right.
That's very true, actually, Pam.
I know I made chocolate chip cookies, so not good.
You beat me. Pam beat
Hey.
me.
Krista, I had to pull myself from looking at a really good bottle of wine to open.
Here, we have a little, we can get closer.
The problem of working at home, I was telling Jeff and Shauna, is you walk out into the kitchen and there's just everything you might want.
Exactly. Here, wine.
You don't.
Chocolate bars. Yeah. Cheers. Some things are.
Soda water time.
Yeah.
I know, it's water instead.
I know.
You just put a little orange in it. It makes it kind of yummy.
Yep.
Very classy. She got
That
that.
looks good, Shauna.
It does look good.
Hey, Jeff, how's your father-in-law?
He's hanging in there. One
Okay.
day at a time. Some days are good, some are awful. Yeah. Yeah.
Just had to check on that.
Yeah. Yep. So we're a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think Krista's background is the best.
I know. I think it's subliminal, Krista. When I went in the kitchen, I'm looking at this great Pinot going, oh, I want to open that.
Soon enough. Soon enough.
Yes.
Teaching us all in interesting ways.
So we are, I guess, 3 minutes away. And then Shauna we have attendees.
Yes.
You click on the lower left, you can see attendees and panel.
Gross.
Hey, Steve.
There's MDH.
Hello.
Hello.
Gotta get myself lit up. You can see me a little bit better now, maybe.
Well, everybody but Joe.
You got me?
Well, let's see. I mean, any word in the last 3 minutes from Joe, Shauna?
I would not anticipate him calling in, and
Okay.
we are live streaming now.
Great. Okay, so I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the Truckee Donner Public Utility District. It is approximately 6:02 p.m. Wednesday, April 15th. Shauna, could we have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Director Ellis,
Here.
Director Laliotis,
Here.
Vice President Finn,
Here.
President Bender.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay. Since we're Zooming, we're going to defer the pledge. And General Manager Holly, number 4, do we have any changes to the agenda?
We do this evening. Due to a union grievance that we have received, we would like to pull item number 13 from consideration.
Copy. Thank you. So we will pull number 13 tonight. All right. That takes us to public input. This is time set aside for the public to address the board on any matter not on the agenda. Is there any public input? I guess since public input is before director update, there is a Q&A at the bottom of the Zoom screen. Chat has been disabled, and so if there are any additional public or any public comments not on the agenda, we have this Q&A here to address that. Okay. Just wanted to give the right pause for any public input. So I'm hearing none. Is that correct, Shauna? No public input?
Yes, sir. I'm not seeing any public input.
Okay. All right. So that takes us to director update. Krista, since you're off to on my right on my screen, I'm going to ask you first. Oh, you're muted.
Okay.
Now
Yeah,
that-
I do have a quick update. It's more like a hi, everybody. It's nice to be back. And I just wanted to have a big thank you to staff for being creative and nimble during this time, and to my fellow board members for being really wholeheartedly participating in these new processes. You know, it's kind of a new world for a lot of us here. And I want to reassure the public that while we are in this unusual situation that's going on right now, we still have the district's regular business and goals firmly in mind and in hand. And I think that our current experience right now is really showing us how quickly, literally almost everything can change. And that when these changes occur, it's important for us to be able to act. Our minds need to be in a place that enables us to embrace the opportunities that challenges and change can present. And right now, staff is really proving that they are very up to the challenge, and that I'm going to be doing my best to match them. So thank you very much for everybody's efforts at this moment. That's my statement.
Great, thank you. Bob, since you're not on mute, do you have any director update?
No, I'm just glad that item, what is it?
13.
12 on the program. I'm glad that's there.
Oh, good. Got it. Okay, thank you. Tony.
Just with what Krista said. I've seen so many great stories about what people are doing in this community, and lots of cool things. But sometimes I feel like water, sewer, electric, we're all kind of in the background, and I certainly want to make sure that staff there realizes from a board perspective how proud we are of what they're doing to keep the lights on and the water flowing. Because we're asking these folks to work. We're asking them to show up every day to work. We're asking them to, take care of customers while practicing social distancing, and we're asking them to have to work together, hopefully 6 feet apart. So a lot's going into what utilities are having to do with this whole situation, and I'm proud of what this group is doing, and I agree with Bob. I'm glad to figure out a way of what we can do as an electric utility. I think is a bit unique that we have the ability to look at programs like that. So I'm glad we can try and give something else back to the community. So anyway, just a great job, and really proud of everyone, and proud of the board for technologically stepping up.
Thank you, Tony. Yeah, I agree with the staff has stepped up. Really, really proud of what we're doing and what has been done in a short amount of time in these incredibly challenging times. So thank you again. And technology-wise, it's working. We have a meeting. Here we are, and really appreciate the hard work from everyone. So thank you. Okay, let me go to my agenda on my iPad here. Director update. Okay, so excuse me. We have some items on the consent calendar, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Is there any public comment on any of the items on the consent calendar tonight? And I forgot to mention Shauna Kuhlmeier's email. You can the public can use that for public comment, as well as the Zoom questions and answers in pretty much the bottom middle of the screen. So that is available for the public for public comment. Shauna, is there any public comment on the consent calendar tonight?
There's no public comment.
Got it. Thank you. Are there any requests from the directors to pull a consent calendar item, I should say?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Great. Thank you.
I'll second that motion.
All right, Oh, what was that?
I think it was some feedback off of a phone call.
Oh, copy. All right, we have a motion from Bob, a second from Krista. Shauna, could we have roll call, please?
Thank you. Director Ellis,
Yes.
Director Laliotis,
Yep.
Vice President Finn,
Yes.
President Bender.
Yes.
The minutes will note Director Aguirre is absent.
Got it. Okay. All right, so that takes us to action item, our one item now, number 12, consideration of temporary programs for COVID-19 customer relief. And I may have done something to my screen that I cannot see the agenda. Did I? Oh, there we go. I did not. Okay, so, all right, staff has this one. Go ahead. Thank you.
Good evening, President Bender and members of the board. It is my pleasure to offer action item number 12. The district has been responding to the COVID-19 crisis at all levels, staff, board, customers, and community. So I have the pleasure to be here to represent that work and share what the executive leadership team and what the board and the staff have done to respond to this crisis. Our focus is on mission critical work and safety. That's maintaining critical energy and water services for the community, practicing physical distancing, hygiene, and personal responsibility, implementing operational changes, working at home and digitally, prioritizing work, closing the district office to the public, and, as we are tonight, conducting online board meetings. Again, our staff's response has been incredible. The operational changes that we've done since the crisis has started, we closed the district office to the public, but our message is we're here to serve you online, by phone, or through the mail. And so we're doing everything we can to maintain critical services. We are practicing physical distancing and trying to lead there with regular internal communications and daily implementation as new information comes out. We are working at home and digitally if possible. And of course, we are critical infrastructure and have a public service obligation during this crisis. But where possible, we are working at home. All non-critical employees are working at home, on-site work only when necessary, using video conferencing, digital meetings, phone calls, and everything we can, and meeting in person only when necessary and following the proper protocols when doing that. And then for prioritizing work, it's critical work only. We are rotating crews to ensure their safety and health. And again, safety is critical for all of our employees, staff, board, and the public. The board, of course, has taken steps as well to continue district governance and operations. We have moved to these online meetings per the state requirements. The public can observe meetings via stream and video or participate through Zoom. There are multiple ways to make public comment, and we are improving meetings as we gain experience through this new normal. And then I should commend the board for positioning the district to respond to emergencies like this. We have a dedicated and experienced staff and board. We have adequate resources and support to get the job done and maintain critical services, and we have financial resources for contingencies. We are working to serve customers by adapting and communicating. We are maintaining critical programs and services. We are targeting external communications, messages like, we are here to serve you. Please help us maintain services, keep our workers safe. And then our online tool, Smart Hub, will allow you to pay bills, request updates and alerts. And so we're really trying to use the opportunity to help our customers work with us most effectively. We've had robust external communications, press releases, on the radio, interviewing and with radio spots, bill stuffers, advertisements, and customer emails. And then, of course, we have our website COVID-19 page that you can access right from the home page, collage picture. And then we've been doing social media on Facebook and Twitter. And then we have ongoing internal communications. That's all hands emails, department meetings, and then regularly reviewing procedures and protocols. We are working to help those in need. We did early in the process suspend disconnects for non-payment due to COVID-19, and we continue to do that. We also have the district's existing payment assistance program. It's an existing program funded by our public benefits charge primarily. The qualification categories include income levels, but it does have a loss of 25% category that we created when we designed the program almost a decade ago. You must be a primary residential customer to qualify. The customer intake and qualification is performed under contract by the Sierra Community House, that's formerly FRC of Truckee, so in partnership with them, and we've been working with them since the beginning of the program. The program traditionally provides 1 month's bill credit annually, and that's your highest electric and water bill in the last 12 months. And it requires that customers complete a residential energy survey. And while this requirement is deferred under the protocols and keeping people safe for COVID-19, the intention is that when that was available again, we would give the credit now, but then circle back and ask to do the survey after the fact. So talk a little bit about the public benefit charges for the electric utility. It is required by Senate Bill 1037 and regulated by the California Energy Commission. It requires the district to assess an additional charge of 2.85% on all customers' bills. And then we're required to spend those funds in one of 4 categories, or all 4 categories: energy efficiency, low income, renewables, research and development. And the district has historically focused on energy efficiency, but funded all 4 of those public benefit categories. It is the primary funding source for energy conservation programs, and the FY20 budget for those is a little under $1 million, with a little over 50,000 dedicated to the payment assistance program. And then for the water side, the FY20 conservation budget is around $100,000 with a small portion dedicated to payment assistance. So I'm going to shift a little from the history and what we've been doing to some new information. The COVID-19 crisis, and restrictions are having severe impacts on the local economy and district customers. Non-essential businesses are forced to close or severely reduce the scope of offering. Tourism-based businesses, construction and real estate are hurting. Customers are experiencing layoffs or loss of income, and many are filing for state or federal unemployment. And the district is starting to see an increase in non-payment and requests for assistance from customers. I would say it's too early to forecast the impact of the magnitude of this. We will continue to monitor that and report back to the board. And then the district staff has been seeking ways to serve those in need, and that includes residential customers and business customers. The business customers are harder, and our programs aren't set up for it. So an immediate response is something we're still looking at and we're still considering, but we do have an opportunity on the residential side that we're bringing to your attention, and I'll switch to that now. So staff has identified the opportunity to temporarily expand the district's payment assistance program. We've named it the COVID-19 Customer Relief Program. So I'll use program going forward to refer to the temporary program. It is a meaningful and immediate way to help primary residents who can document, residential customers who can document financial hardship. Staff is proposing to temporarily increase the payment, which for the program, it's a bill credit annually. Right now, it's your highest bill in the last 12 months. We're proposing to the board to double that for new customers, and then we do a look back and give that credit to the existing customers. So everybody would end up with 2 months who qualified. And we believe that 25% loss of income qualification would apply customers who filed for state or federal unemployment de facto, or if any customer can document the loss of 25% of income. That is one of our criteria that exists today. It does leverage existing programs and capacities in our partnership with Sierra Community House, and that it was a factor and remains a factor as we look at staffing and critical and really trying to do the most with what we can while keeping everybody safe and healthy. We have reached out and had multiple discussions with Sierra Community House, their executive director and staff, and they are ready to dramatically expand participation. And again, our residential energy surveys would be deferred, but would provide benefits to the participants later when we were able to reopen those programs. So we did look at potential budgeted funding sources to temporarily expand the district's payment assistance program. Again, the current budget for the electric utility was $54,000. We've identified and are proposing an opportunity to reallocate $275,000 within the Conservation Department budget. First place we looked is the fact that many of our energy and water conservation programs are suspended or dramatically reduced. And so if we can't spend that money there and it comes from our customers, let's find a way to give it back to them. And so that's one source we looked at. We also know that the district needs a strong economy and customer base for our future conservation programs to succeed. So holding on to the money to do more later didn't really make a lot of sense to us. We identified a total of $250,000 from the electric utility. That was $150,000 from reallocations, renewables, and then $100,000 from reallocations from the energy efficiency utility that could come from the conservation budget. And if the board chooses to take this action, the new proposed total for the program would be almost $330,000. We also looked at potential impacts of temporarily expanding the district's program, serve over 550 primary residential customers with this program. And again, it's depending on need and the ability to qualify, but the budget would allow us to serve that many. And that could be 15% of our primary residential customers, which is pretty substantial. The new participants would eventually be candidates for other conservation programs, again, using the residential energy survey as the entry there. Other conservation program results would be impacted by the reallocation of the funds. Some of them would be inevitable because the programs are shut down, but there might be other impacts as well. The program would take effect immediately and would remain in effect for 30 days after California has ended the stay-at-homes or expended. And then we would need to expand our contract with the Sierra Community House from $5,000 to $35,000 to compensate them for the dramatic increase in scope of work and customer participation. Customer Relief Program would reallocate $275,000 of the FY20 board approved budget to that program, and sufficient funds do exist for this reallocation. And the staff recommendation is to approve the budget amendment and reallocation of $275,000 for the temporary COVID-19 relief program as presented in this staff report, and authorize the general manager to amend the FY20 Sierra Community $35,000. And I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Stephen, thank you. All right, I'd like to open this action item 12 up to public comment. Please use Shauna's email or the Q&A, the bottom middle of the Zoom screen. We'll take a moment to wait for that. Anything, Shauna?
No, Mr. President.
Okay, so we have no public comment on this item. Is there any director comments or questions? Bob?
Yes, Stephen, is 275,000, do you think that's going to be enough for at least 1 month on this program?
I would hope so. Again, the magnitude of, how many people are filing for unemployment. I've heard numbers in the 10% up to 25% of a state's population. That's California and listening to the national news. I don't know exactly what our numbers are, but I suspect we have customers in need, and this felt like a pretty robust start.
And then my other concern would be helping out local businesses that have been shut down by the COVID.
We've discussed as staff and continue to look for opportunities for that. There are restrictions to the public benefit funds, those 4 buckets that I talked about, the low income, the renewables, the energy efficiency, and the R&D. We've almost exclusively spent the business money on energy efficiency programs to help them with those. And under the definitions by the Energy Commission, the businesses don't qualify for low income in terms of direct assistance. So those are some of the barriers that we're addressing and trying to find ways around.
Okay, but we're not doing any collections on businesses right now if they can't pay the bill?
We are pursuing our normal billing process, but we have suspended disconnects for non-payment.
Okay. All right. That's all I got.
Thanks, Bob. Krista, you just unmuted, so go with you.
Built-in tell with the Zoom. Sort of building off of Bob's, Director Ellis's questions. Do we have penalties or fees for non-payment or late payments? Does that exist in our current structure?
It exists in our current normal operating processes and in district code, but under the temporary rules for COVID, those are being suspended.
Okay, so those are also, not only are we not disconnecting people, we are also waiving those penalties or fees for non-payment.
I believe so.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ensure was happening or hope was happening. Also, just as a general statement, I do approve of this reallocation of funds. I think, in its essence, conservation is about conserving our community, protecting our community, and obviously some kind of extreme events are going on right now, and I think it's a good use of these funds, so shifting them around. And I'm proud of the staff for prioritizing our most vulnerable community members, which is more community members than ever expected to be vulnerable in this way. This is not an easy thing for our business community or anybody in our community. We are not used to not being able to pay our bills. So I hope that we're I'm glad that we're doing all that we can to help in this situation. And also, sort of on that line, is how are we getting the word out about this program and encouraging people who need to participate, not people who don't. There are people in the region that are doing fine still, which is great. But I really want to make sure that the people who are not are able and willing and not embarrassed or whatever. So how to get the word out that this program exists. And I think that's all my comments. Thank you, Stephen, for your presentation.
Sure. If, we have a robust outreach plan, both kind of boots on the ground through our partner with the Sierra Community House and our partner agencies and just the networks we have within the community. And then I have a press release written. We'll be on the radio. We'll be doing all the things we normally do, but we're going to make a big push to get this out.
Right on. And I think the radio, has been super effective. I feel like JD is going above and beyond Call of Duty, and a lot of people are getting a lot of information from him. So, good job. I heard you on there, Stephen. Thanks.
Thank you. Tony, you're up.
Okay. I want to thank staff for putting this together. I think it's a great program. And I encourage, as Chris has said, as much public outreach and trying to make sure that we maximize this benefit for the people who need it. But on the commercial side, I'm also very sensitive to that situation because there's a lot of businesses that are closed. There's a lot of businesses that are staying open and probably, going into the red to stay open, to keep people employed and keep services and food to this community. So it's a lot of different needs on the commercial side as well, which has me concerned a bit. I do have a question for Steve Gross, and maybe Steve Poncelet, both of you can answer. Question on, I know the governor suspended, shutoffs for non-payment, but from a penalties and fees perspective, I don't recall if that was part of the governor's order, and if it wasn't, does the board have to take action to suspend those particular actions?
So, Stephen, I'll go ahead and take the first shot at answering the question. My understanding is that the governor's executive orders have not addressed late fees or interest and only prohibited utility or water utility shutoffs at this time. With respect to the board, this board suspending the collection or imposition of late fees and penalties. Honestly, I'd have to take a look at the ordinance to see how that is written. I don't know if that duty and authority has been delegated to the general manager with respect to his duties in general to operate the district on a daily basis.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure that, I support suspension of penalties and fees during this time, especially as a gesture to the commercial community. So I just want to make sure that, we're taking the appropriate actions to do that. I don't really have any other comments. Just thank you to staff for being nimble and trying to get these programs out on the street as quickly as possible.
Thanks, Tony. Good points from all the directors. I would ditto the suspending the late fees as well. And then I think regarding the 2 months, Stephen, that we should probably take a look at this program in a month or two to see how it's doing, get an update on it, and do we need to extend it? because we might have to do that. You don't know. The future is still unknown for the length of time that everything will be shut down. So that would be great if we could take a look at it again. Hey, MDH.
Director Bender, if it is the board's pleasure, staff can bring this back on a monthly basis and provide a status update. I see a lot of nodding heads here. If that's
Yes. Great. Thank you.
And also I want to point out, can we bring that up at the next board meeting, what we can do for businesses in regards to the fees and penalties?
Yeah, that can be brought back.
Okay. Because I think businesses are going to be hurt more than, people understand in this community.
I would agree.
So.
Great. Any other comments or questions from the board members? Okay. I think we're good. Is there a motion? And here it is. Thank you, Ian, or whoever's doing that.
Yeah, I'll move to approve the budget amendment and reallocation of $275,000 in temporary COVID-19 customer relief program. And item 2, the manager to amend the fiscal year 2020 Sierra Community House contract to a new amount not to exceed $35,000.
I'll second that.
Got it. Thank you, Tony. We have a motion and a second. Shauna, could we have roll call, please?
Absolutely. Director Ellis?
Yes.
Director Laliotis?
Yes.
Vice President Ben?
Yes.
President Bender?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Okay, we have item 13 has been pulled. So we now on to routine business. Treasurer's report, April 2020. Approval of the treasurer's report of fund balances for the month ended February 2020. Is there any comments, questions, or motion to approve?
I'll move approval of the treasurer's report of fund balances as of month ended February 29, 2020.
I'll second that.
Great, we have a motion and second. All in favor? Oh no, let's do roll call, Shauna, please. Yeah.
Thank you, President. Director Ellis?
Yes.
Director Laliotis?
Yep.
Vice President Ben?
Yes.
President Bender?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, now we have approval of disbursements for March of 2020. Joe is not here, so someone else is going to have to
I
step
can
up.
make a move that we pay the bills in Joe's honor.
I'll second that.
Oh, Bob got you, Tony.
All right.
All right. Shauna, roll call, please.
Director Laliotis?
Yes.
Director Ellis?
Yes.
Vice President Ben?
Yes.
President Bender?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have a few minutes. Approval of the minutes of March 4th, March 12th, and March 18th, 2020.
You had a busy month.
Yes. Is there a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the minutes from March 4th, March 12th, and March 18th, 2020.
I'll second that.
Okay, Shauna, roll call, please.
Director Liliotis,
Yep.
Director Ellis,
Yes.
Vice President Finn,
Yes.
President Bender.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, that's it for everything except item number 16. Closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54957, Public Employee Performance Evaluation, General Manager's Performance Plan Review. And there's going to be a lot of beeps and clicks as we go to closed session.
So we're leaving this meeting and re-entering. Is that correct?
That is correct. Underneath a private meeting.
Okay.
And can I suggest that we take a 5-minute break?
Yes. Yeah, so let's confirm. So we've got an email to click on to start a new meeting for closed session.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Copy. So it's, how about 6:45? Is that plenty of time, or does everyone want a few more minutes?
That should work.
Good work. Give you the thumbs
Okay.
up. Okay.
Bitmoji, yeah. All right. See y'all in 5 minutes. Thanks.